So beyond contact tracing, COVID has made it so that we're spending our entire day on a screen and online, and things happen like Zoom bombing. Why is that? And what are new risks that we are taking by spending our entire days online?
I think that this is something that we're all figuring out right now, and we're going to continue to figure it out over the course of the next several months, which is how has COVID-19 and sheltering in place affected our society, especially from a technology perspective? Because technology has been our solution in terms of how does society keep functioning when we can't meet in person, when we can't go out of our houses and go to our offices the way that we used to. And so all of those in-person interactions have been replaced by technology-based communications, and Zoom in particular has been one of the most used video conferencing systems. And Zoom is currently worth more than Uber as a result of that. It's just unbelievable the adoption rates and the usage rates that have resulted from sheltering in place. But this reliance on video conferencing and Zoom in particular has exposed gaps in the way that those technologies have been implemented that people just didn't think about several months earlier. So, for example, people just assumed in many cases that the communications that they were having through Zoom would be completely encrypted. And there was messaging on Zoom's site that talked about how those communications were encrypted, but it turns out they're not fully encrypted in terms of what we think of as end-to-end encryption. So if you've got the opportunity for a third party to be able to eavesdrop on those conversations, that's not a fully encrypted end-to-end connection. And so that's something that Zoom is rolling out now. It's going to be an upcoming feature. But the way that they've proposed it, it's only going to be available to their paid users. It's not going to be available for all of the free Zoom users. And this is something that people are talking about in the privacy community right now. What are the implications that are associated with that? Because you compare it to other technologies like FaceTime, for example, on Apple devices, and that is end-to-end encrypted. So that gives you a level of protection from a security perspective that you don't have on systems that don't have end-to-end encryption. So I think that we'll see how this plays out over time, but Zoom has been very quick to enlist the help of various cybersecurity experts when these gaps were identified. And that's one of the reasons that they're working on adding these new features. So I'm sure that the way that they'll roll out new features and implement these protections will continue to evolve in the coming weeks and months. But there are a variety of different concerns that come about as a result of us spending so much time working from home and using technology to be able to communicate with one another. So we're using our home PCs and devices more than we ever did before in a work context. And many of those devices don't have the same security protections that our work computers and work devices do. And this is something that is very different than what we think of as the bring your own device model that has been common in corporate America for many years now, where people are bringing personal devices into their work environments, and now security departments and IT departments have to think about how do they protect the work environment. There, they have the benefit of still being able to control what happens on the network that is provided by the office. In the current context, the network is actually provided by us. It's provided by the home users. And so when you've got personal devices connecting to home networks, now you've got multiple opportunities for security gaps. And this is something that cyber criminals can take advantage of. So if you have a security vulnerability in your home Wi-Fi network, or you have a security vulnerability in your mobile device or in your personal computer, or in another device that happens to be on the same home network that allows a cyber criminal to then infiltrate other devices, Now you've got a problem which is really difficult for a company to be able to deal with. And so many companies are just figuring out at this point what to do. In some cases, they're saying you can only get your email by using a work laptop that has various security controls installed. In other cases, they're saying that they need to install new technologies and products themselves to be able to monitor how different corporate resources are used in order to be able to detect those types of vulnerabilities and any type of cyber criminal activity. So I think that this is accelerating a trend that has been in place for some time, where we don't have the opportunity to be able to fully control every device and every connection to our corporate resources. And so we need to think about this in a much more expansive way. And so monitoring that usage is something that I think was already happening, but now it's going to become the standard way of approaching security in general, because everybody is working from environments that you absolutely cannot control fully.
Mm. Sounds like we had a few gaps, and they've been enlarged to the extreme and exposed. We've exposed ourselves in the process of shifting quickly to new ways of working, and changing our tools for more personal ones that are not necessarily as secure as you would want them to be.